Well, October has been one of my favorite themes in my bullet journal so far. I absolutely love the decoration that I've been doing in here, and the weeklies have been working fairly well. I might need to do some tweaking moving forward, but the issue is that I don't actually have very many pages left in this journal, yet I need to fit 2 months into it. Honestly, it's not going to happen. There's genuinely not enough space in here. So what I'm going to do for November is actually try my hand at doing a digital bullet journal in Notion. So why have I decided to go with Notion for the month ahead? Well, one, I like the idea of finishing out the year in a physical journal, so I'm going to save the pages that I have in here for December. 2, Notion is a free tool, so I can set up a digital bullet journal without having to drop a whole bunch of money, which is always a plus. We love savings. And 3, Notion is actually fairly intuitive for at least the basic stuff, which is kind of nice, but it also has a heap of functionality, and we're going to explore some of that today. I do of course have a playlist of other Notion videos that you can check out, which is linked in the description box, but let's jump into Notion. So here we have the front screen of my bullet journal that I've made in Notion. I do have a separate video explaining each of the parts of this one, so we're not so much going to look at that, but having a little scroll through, you can see we have a currently section, a section for my collections, so future log, content schedule, that kind of stuff. We also have a key on the side to describe what each of my little signifiers mean. And then down the bottom we have the monthly setups. And this is mainly where we're going to spend our time today. Having a look at the mock-up that I set up for October though, so you can kind of see what we're aiming for with our November setup. So we just press on that one and it brings us to this screen here. So this is my October 2022 setup, but of course I'm not actually really using this because I do have my bullet journal. I've just made it here so that you can kind of see what we're aiming for. The sections on this are pretty similar to what I have in my actual bullet journal. So we have a priorities list for my different social media streams, my different YouTube channels, and my Patreon tasks. We also have a space for my weeklies. So at the moment I've got one weekly in there, which is the current week that I'm working on. We have a little quote space, and I wanted to make this one about the moon, considering I'm going with a kind of lunar witches theme for October. And then we've got a little goals section underneath this. At the bottom here we have effectively the future log, but it's just a place to view what's happening this month. And you can see I've gone and added some things to my calendar, so you can kind of see what that will look like. If we scroll back up to the top and just have a little look through, so for instance the weekly that we're working with at the moment, this one is broken down into a priority section, so what are the top tasks for the week. We've got some quick links back to relevant places in the journal. Underneath this though, we have the daily logs. And so this is effectively like my task list where I'm actually getting things done. So for instance, today we are filming our November journal setup, which is what we're doing right now, obviously. Underneath this though, we also have a space for a habit tracker. I haven't actually filled in any habits here because, as I said, I'm using my actual journal at the moment. I'm not using this Notion journal yet because I'm going to use it for November. We're going to start in November. And at the bottom, we've also got a weekly reflection place where we have little reflection questions in each of these kind of like toggle menus. So that's kind of cute. At the top here, you can see we have what's called a breadcrumb, or effectively like backlinks to where we came from. So going back to the October monthly, and you can see in terms of the goal section, we've got the actions list, which looks like this. I haven't actually filled it in because, again, I'm not actually using this yet. You can see each of the pages has this kind of little like cover art, which I think is pretty cute, and we're going to add some of those in for November as well. And we've also in that goal section got the monthly reflection, which has a bunch of little pre-set up sections that we can fill in at the end of the month when it comes to doing things like the monthly reset, that kind of stuff. Jumping back to the actual full bullet journal though, this is where we're going to set up November, or at least start to set up November. So like I said, really playing with this monthly setup section down the bottom. The nice part is, with the way that I've set up this journal, which, as I mentioned, is available for purchase on my store, link in the description box, but the nice part is that I don't have to start things up from scratch every month. I can just press this little button that says New Monthly Setup. And this is effectively a template, so it generates a new monthly setup page that already has pre-sectioned off stuff. Has things like the setup action list, has things like the priorities section, all of that. So this is what you'll see when you press that new monthly setup section. And just to make it easy so that we know what we're working with, November 2022. Excellent. Should we do decoration first or populate things first? I think we're going to do decoration first. So Team Patron, thank you so much. They voted for a sunflowers theme in November, which I'm pretty excited about. So the first thing I'm going to change is this little icon here because the stars are there because it's like a new monthly, but we want this to be a sunflowers theme. So we've jumped on that. We can go sunflower in the emojis and look, there is one there. Isn't that cute? Of course, you can upload custom icons and stuff. I don't really feel the need to do that though. Like, they've got a sunflower there. It's cute. I will use it. This blue banner at the top, while pretty, is not very sunflowery. So we're just going to hover over that and press on change cover so that we can actually put something in that's related to our theme. The nice part about this is, like, they've got a couple of things in the gallery, but the one that I particularly like is Unsplash. So you can search through a bunch of different stock photos and pick the ones you like. It's just super easy. So sunflowers. We go for that. We've got a bunch of really cute options. Ooh, okay. I think the one that like kind of first attracted me was this one with the sun, which is pretty cute. And you can see that obviously the picture is bigger than what's shown on the banner at the top. So you can, hovering over that again, just go to reposition and put it where you want. So if you wanted more of the sun and the sky, you could bring it up to there. If you wanted more of the sunflowers, you can drag it down to here. I think I'm gonna keep it there. That looks pretty good. And you just press on save position when you have it where you want it. Excellent, so that's that decorative part done. I don't really feel so much of a need to add any more kind of pictures in. I'll add a picture to each of the different pages I make. So like the weekly logs that I make and the actions list, we can go and put a picture on that kind of stuff. But mainly what I'm gonna do is play around with text color instead. So if we go to the priorities bar here, you can see this little block has these 6 dots. And you can use those 6 dots to like drag things around and stuff like that. We're just going to press on it and it's going to bring up a little menu here. And in particular, I want to play with color. So I can do a different color text or I can do a background for that block. I think I'm going to do a yellow background for all of the headers here. So the weekly one as well, just to make it tie into our theme a little nicer. I'm also going to change this quote of the month block so that it's yellow because it'll just fit better, you know? We could have gone with text color instead of block color, but you can only have one in those headers that I've got there. And I personally prefer the contrast of the dark black text on the yellow block. I think that works nicely. Going and adding in some more decoration though, we are going to decorate the actions list in particular. So jumping into this one, I want to make each of those a yellow block as well, just to tie everything together. And I'm also going to add a cover picture once I've done this too. So for this, we just hover over underneath the icon, it says add cover, we press on that, and then it'll give us just like a default kind of one, which is certainly not within the theme. And again, we can just go and change the cover, go to Unsplash, or of course you could upload your own picture, or if you found a picture somewhere else on the internet, you could use the link button, but Unsplash it is for me. So we used the Todd Kent one before. I'm going to go with possibly this one. I kind of just like the ones with the sunflower and the sky. I think they're pretty. And that's actually in a pretty good position. We can of course change this icon too if you don't want an exclamation point and a question mark. Maybe we'll change it to a little yellow heart or something to kind of keep it in the color palette in theme. And then, now as that one's got its decoration, we can just jump back into the November 2022 at the top to go back to our monthly view. Looking cute. Of course, you can add a bunch of decoration onto the actual pages of the pages, not just the cover art. So for instance, if we wanted one underneath the priorities here, we can just click underneath the priorities. I'm gonna click down here because then this block will take up the entire space that we've got there. And if we on that block type / and image, so you can upload or embed with a link. I'm just going to again jump into Unsplash because it's free and it's easy and I like free and easy. So sunflower. If you type in different keywords, obviously you get different results. So sunflowers versus sunflower. I'm gonna go with just generic picture here, and you can see that it fits that space horizontally. I don't actually want this here, but it's just kind of an example of what you can do. You can add in your own little pictures. You could, of course, download this image directly from Unsplash and crop it to a size that you actually want and then upload it. I kind of like the more minimal aesthetic that we've got with just the banner at the top. So I'm personally going to get rid of this block just by pressing on the 6 dots and then pressing delete. Gone. We're gonna add some decoration on the monthly reflection just by adding in a cover as well. So again, Unsplash and sunflower, and we'll pick, that one's pretty cute. Again, I kind of just like the ones that have the sky in there as well. And this one's got a cute little bee on it. Oh, excellent. So now as those are in, now as we've kind of done the decorative elements or the minimal decoration that I'm going with, now it's time to actually start thinking about putting in stuff. So for me, instead of the priorities being for personal, home, and work, I like these to be for my different kind of main social media accounts. So we're thinking JashiiCorrin. You can see that it's not bold anymore, so we just highlight it, turn it bold with like Control or Command B. I need one for JashiiCorrin Vlogs. And the last one is going to be for Patreon. Nice. So I could type out all of those Patreon tasks again, but I don't want to, because again, I enjoy being lazy. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna jump back into main bullet journal, and I'm going to go into October 2022, because I know I have a list there of all of my patron tasks. I can just copy them over much easier. So we're just gonna highlight those blocks there. Now as they're all highlighted, we just do Command C or Control C to copy them, and then we can jump back into bullet journal and back into November 2022, which is in that monthly setup section, to just paste those in the Patreon list. Nice and easy. So obviously you can see that it's pasted it with the same kind of, ones that are checked versus ones that aren't checked from the month prior, but we can just go and uncheck those so that we have our nice fresh list. I'm not actually going to fill in the content for JashiiCorrin and JashiiCorrin Vlogs just yet, because I'm not sure how many of the vlogs I'm going to get edited this month, so I'm just going to wait until we're a little bit closer to November to fill that one in. And also, like, spoilers for regular main channel content. I don't want to ruin the surprise. So the priorities list is sorted. We do need a quote of the month, and we're going to have to go find a quote related to sunflowers. Alrighty, so we've found one from Helen Keller. So we'll just stick that one in. The nice part about doing this digitally is that I don't have to like do any fancy lettering or whatever. Like technically speaking, I could just take this image and stick it in. Like if we just copy this image that I found, I'll just put it here. Embed anything. See, isn't that nice? Like I could just smack this in here, keep your face to the sunshine, and you cannot see the shadow. It's what sunflowers do. So I could keep it like that. I actually kind of like it as the little quote box that I've already got. So we can get rid of that one and just type in Helen Keller. Beautiful. From here, I just want to show you how I would go about setting up a weekly log. So when it comes to doing the weekly logs, you can see that we have a new weekly log button here, and we've also got this little toggle menu to kind of explain how to use it. So as it says, hover over the new weekly log button and press on the cog icon to change the template. I encourage you to do this to view the weekly log template before you start adding new weeks. This will allow you to make the template to your liking so that each new month fits your needs. So inputting the habits you want to track on the template so you don't have to add them each week. So if we hover over the new weekly log, you can see that little configure template button. We're going to press on that and it brings up the template kind of specifications. And this one down here, the weekly log date to date, is the one that we want to change. So we'll just press on that one. And this is the template. I don't want to add the template each week and have it have like grey boxes and then me have to change all of them, or have this kind of like generic habit tracker section. I'd like to actually put in what the habits are so that every time I press that add new weekly log button, it gives me the stuff I want. So doing this before you start adding new weeks, it's just going to save you some hassle. So first of all, I'm going to go and change some colors. I'm going to turn this one into yellow and yellow to go with like our sunflowers theme. The reason I'm doing the text yellow here is that I want these little daily ones down the bottom here. Those ones I want to be the yellow kind of boxes. So we can change all of those. And then the main headers can be in that kind of darker yellow font, though I don't believe I can change the color of the database that the habit tracker is, so maybe I'll just leave them black. I kind of like the black and yellow together as well. It's kind of nice. It's simple. I also find that the yellow color of the text is kind of more mustardy, and I don't necessarily want that for my weekly log, so we'll just change it back to black. It's all good. Black is called default, not black though, so don't go looking for black when you mean default. I'm going to keep the cover art of the weekly log just the generic one because I'm going to want to change that each week, so I don't have the same sunflower design each week, so that one's fine. I'm also going to keep the little page icon here. I could change it to something else, like the little heart or, I don't know, the little sunflower, but I think that the little page is cute. The priorities I'm not going to fill in for the template because they'll change week to week, but what I can do on the daily logs is add in a kind of like weekly schedule. So for instance, I know that each Sunday is laundry day, so I can type in laundry here. What I can also do, what I like to do in my journal, is break this down into subtasks. So enter for a new line and then tab to shift that over and effectively nest that task underneath laundry. So like washing, and then drying, and putting away those clothes. So the nice part is, as this is the template, every time I generate this template of the weekly log, it'll already have that stuff in there. Nice and simple. I also know that Wednesdays are typically Bujo Wednesday nights, but a Bujo Wednesday night is not a task, it is an event. So instead of the little to-do box, I'm going to press the / again and type in bullet to put that in as a bulleted point, and put in Bujo Wednesday so that I know that each Wednesday we have Bujo Wednesday. Not that I was going to forget, but it's there. I'm also going to drag that one to the top because I personally prefer my events to be listed first. It's just a personal preference. Tuesday is towel washing day, so we can put towel washing in. So that is a wash, dry, and put away scenario again. And outside of that, I don't believe I have any other regular tasks on the daily logs that I want to put in. But the nice part is you can set this up to put in your own ones, your weekly routine already there, mapped out. In the habit tracker though, this is where I'm very much going to want to put in the habits ahead of time so I don't have to add them every week because that would just be laborious, not friendly. So I don't actually know at this stage what I want my habits for November to be, but we'll put in some kind of basic ones. You just press on the habit header and then type in what you want that habit to be. So I'm gonna say I want my habit to be intentional leisure, because that's something I've been working on. I can say maybe the next one is water, because that's something I need to do more of, actually drinking water. And maybe this one is finishing work by 7 p.m. If you want to add more habits, you just press on the little plus button here and you just need to add in the one that says checkbox. So that's the one that's actually going to be ticked. Little checkbox, very cute. And we're going to say that this habit is something like posting to Instagram, because that's also something I've been working on. There we go. So you'll notice that underneath the 3 that we already had, so what was habit 1, 2, and 3, has a little checked percentage at the bottom. I want that to happen for posting to Instagram as well. So you just have to hover over the bottom section here. It says calculate, and then we can press on percentage checked. And then as you complete things throughout the week, it'll tell you like how much of that you actually got done, which is pretty cute. Setting up your habit tracker ahead of time, good idea. The weekly reflection, we don't have to fill anything in on, but of course, if you want to make some changes to the template there, so that then each week when you generate a new weekly, it's already there, that'd be cool too. Scrolling back up to the top, you don't have to save anything, it automatically saves, which is super nice. We just need to jump back into November 2022, and that new weekly template will be stored in that new weekly log button, which is nice. So if we want to generate a new weekly with that stuff, we just need to press on the new weekly log button and it will generate that for us and open it up, which is super cool. What I would do is, as I make them, make sure that I'm changing the dates so that it's nice and easy to see which one you're looking at any given time. Change the cover image, put in your tasks, yada yada yada. And we can change that cover picture to just be something related to our theme. So bright and happy. Jumping back into November, having a look, we've got our priorities list sorted, our weeklies and the weekly template button is done. That's looking awesome. The actions list, not going to populate that until a little closer to November. The monthly reflection, we've set up at least the cover, but that one gets filled in at the end of November. Now what we need to do is think about the this month section. So it defaults to whatever day you've last left it on. So because I haven't played around with it yet, it's defaulting to today. But if we push this forward to November, then each time I come back into this, it should default to November. Adding in some events. So for instance, we know Bujo Wednesday. That one's gonna happen. And the nice part about Notion is that you don't have to type that out again and again and again. All you have to do is click and hold on the event that you've got there, hold down the Alt key, and then drag it to the new day. And now it's just a duplicate, which is nice and easy. So we're gonna have Bujo Wednesday on each Wednesday in November, looking cute. I don't have any other plans for the month yet though. Actually, I think we have at least one event. I think we're having a Friendsgiving, as I like to call it. We don't really celebrate regular American Thanksgiving in New Zealand, probably because we're New Zealand, but I like to do a Friendsgiving, kind of like a potluck dinner. It's just a bit of fun. Don't really have a lot more to add to that at the moment, but at least the calendar is looking good. So scrolling back up to the top, the last thing we need to do is put the November monthly log in the right place, because at the moment it's just kind of floating at the top here, and I want it to be here. So we just go over here, press on those 6 little dots beside the November label, and then drag it to be underneath October, and get rid of the November label that was already there. Excellent. As mentioned, this full template is available for purchase on my shop, which is linked in the description box below. Of course, it doesn't come with my October and November in it, but it does come with those templates that we looked at, including the new monthly setup template. It has the collections here, but not the content schedule because that one's specific to me. And if there's anything else you'd like to see as part of that template, just let me know. If you wanted to see a more in-depth look at the bullet journal template as a whole, so looking more into things like the future log, the goals section, all that jazz, be sure to check out the video we have on screen here. Or if you were looking for more Notion content in general, the playlist at the bottom is where it's at. As always, team, thank you for watching, and until next time, bye!